It's just going to get weirder and weirder and weirder, and finally it's going to be so weird that people are going to have to talk about how weird it is. The level of contradiction is going to rise excruciatingly. Eventually people are going to say, what the hell is going on? It's just too nuts. It's not enough to say it's nuts. You have to explain why it's so nuts. We are about to take the step out of matter. The planet is on a collision course with the most profound event it's possible to imagine.
When you hear these words today, it's hard not to feel goosebumps. This isn't a brand new interview. It was recorded back in 1998. And yet, what Terence McKenna describes is exactly what we live through every single day now. Back then, the internet was barely a thing. AI was still pure science fiction, and the world felt slower. Yet McKenna saw it coming. A future so wild, so chaotic, it's almost too nuts to grasp. From TikTok trends exploding overnight to AI rewriting reality, we are living inside the very vision he laid out decades ago. What once sounded like far-out speculation now reads like a playbook for our present. Virtual realities, brain-computer interfaces, accelerated change. These are not just ideas anymore. They are our everyday reality. This is what makes McKenna's insights so eye-opening. He didn't just imagine a strange future. He predicted a reality that looks a lot like ours today. And in this talk, he explains why things keep getting stranger, faster, and harder to ignore. Why the world feels upside down, chaotic, and almost too intense to follow. And what that means for us, right here, right now.
So what we have here is a new model of time based on a very real intuition that I think most people share, which is that time is speeding up, that human beings are part of that process, and that the culmination of that process is now within the ven of historical time, because processes are now in play which so totally rewrite the script that no one can imagine.
Look at the world around us. Everything seems upside down. It's a mess. Chaos in politics, constant crises, contradictions everywhere, and a pace of change that feels impossible to keep up with. McKenna warned us about this. He said that time itself seems to be accelerating, that every moment is being crammed with more events, more breakthroughs, more shocks than ever before. And isn't that exactly what we feel? Days don't just pass, they blur. Hours feel like minutes, and weeks carry the weight of years. It's not just a trick of the mind. The world itself seems to be accelerating. The old rhythm of life, slower, steadier, predictable, has collapsed. Now months can reshape the whole planet, and weeks can feel like years. This is why life feels so unstable. It's not that the clocks are running faster. It's that reality itself is compressing more and more into each passing moment. The sense that everything is rushing forward, almost spiraling, is the natural result of this acceleration. Life is accelerating, and so are we, because transformation often begins with an intensifying process. It's understandable to feel a sense of unease or confusion in the face of such immense change. It's natural to feel overwhelmed by the surrealness of it all. Since the 2020s, everything seems upside down. A mess of colliding events, cultural divides deepening, AI rewriting industries, climate solutions battling escalating crises. Terence McKenna saw this coming in 1998, predicting history would compress, rushing toward a moment of explosive novelty. But here is where McKenna's vision offers something important. Within this acceleration lies possibility. When life speeds up, it doesn't only bring chaos, it also brings more chances for growth, new connections, and transformation than ever before. But, and this is crucial, what we do with these chances depends on where we put our focus. And this is the great spiritual test of our time, because the system we live in knows how to use acceleration against us. It floods us with negativity, endless noise, shallow entertainment, and fast content that scatters our attention. It makes us reactive instead of reflective. It turns acceleration into distraction. Yet McKenna's insight points us toward another possibility. If time is quickening, then so is the opportunity for awareness. The same speed that overwhelms us can also serve us, if we learn to place our attention consciously. Now, more than ever, the key is where we choose to direct our focus. If we give it to noise, we feed the chaos. If we give it to clarity, connection, and the higher growth of the self, we align with the very transformation McKenna saw coming. Whatever you focus on, grows. And whatever you resist, persists. It's not just a saying, it's how energy works.
What I mean really is that more and more is happening. And if you ask the question, well, what would be the ultimate state of connectivity or of happening? It's when all points are connected to all other points. Somehow this concept of connectivity is intimately linked to the concept of complexity. In other words, it's happening faster and faster. And we're doing it by becoming information that is freed from material. Our entire planetary technology cannot achieve moving a marble at the speed of light, but we can move information at the speed of light. We are all gathered here at the end game of developmental processes on this planet. We are about to become unrecognizable to ourselves as a species. Our technologies, our religions, our science has pushed us toward this for thousands of years without us awakening to what the denouement would be.
Back in 1998, when McKenna said these words, technology meant the early internet, clunky computers, and the first sparks of digital globalization. Compared to today, it all seems primitive, but the direction he saw was absolutely clear. And today, it's undeniable. McKenna envisioned humanity escaping the chrysalis of matter, hurtling toward a new era of boundless novelty. Technology has seeped into every corner of our lives. We don't just use it. In many ways, we live inside it. From the moment we wake up to the moment we fall asleep, our minds are in constant contact with screens, networks, and artificial systems of intelligence. McKenna's point wasn't only that technology would change society, it was that it would change us. It would change how we see ourselves, how we connect, how we think, and even what it means to be human. That's why he said we are about to become unrecognizable to ourselves. And isn't that already happening? We are now living in an age where reality is filtered through digital lenses, images, feeds, algorithms. What is true? What is false? What is authentic? What is artificial? The lines are blurred like never before. In this sense, technology doesn't just extend human abilities. It questions human identity itself. The world isn't just speeding up. It's weaving itself into a single pulsing network. Every connection, every shared thought, every global live stream links people and ideas closer together, as if humanity were forming a collective brain. In 1998, Terence McKenna saw this rising connectivity as the very engine of time's acceleration. Each link acts like a synapse, sparking complexity, creating patterns that ripple globally. In a single hour today, more unfolds than entire years once held. Online movements igniting global change, digital platforms connecting minds across continents instantly, and new cultural trends sparking and spreading at lightning speed. McKenna saw it as the universe knitting itself into a shared awareness. Today, with augmented reality reshaping how we see and brain-computer interfaces blurring who we are, That vision feels alive. Yet this web is not serene. It trembles on the edge of chaos. The question is, what happens when these connections overload? From a spiritual perspective, this is both dangerous and extraordinary. On the one hand, technology can fragment us, scatter our minds, and make us more dependent on external systems than on our own inner strength. It can tempt us to live entirely outside ourselves, disconnected from our inner source. On the other hand, it can also expand our reach, connect us across the world, and reflect back to us the deeper truth that consciousness is not bound by physical distance. The danger, of course, is when technology grows faster than wisdom. Acceleration without awareness leads to collapse. But if we bring awareness into this transformation, if we see technology as a mirror of our own evolving mind, then it becomes something else entirely. A tool for awakening. A challenge that forces us to ask who we really are beyond all the systems and machines. This is the paradox McKenna was pointing to. Technology can reduce us to fragmented shadows, or it can help us realize that the essence of who we are cannot be digitized, cannot be simulated, cannot be controlled. The choice is ours, and as time accelerates, that choice is becoming more urgent than ever.
Well, novelty is not necessarily good or nice. Novelty is complex. That's what it is. It's only going to get weirder. Epoch, a time will come when this rate of complexification is occurring so rapidly that it will become itself the overwhelming phenomena in the world of three-dimensional space and time. And I call this the omega point, or the transcendental object at the end of history. And I believe it is not that far off.
This is one of McKenna's most mind-bending ideas, and it's easy to feel lost at first. He is not just talking about random chaos or chance events. He's describing a force, a pull, a strange attractor that draws everything forward. Think about it. Even in the middle of the mess, there is a direction. Even in confusion, there is a subtle pattern, a hidden order that the mind can barely perceive. It is as if the universe is nudging us, guiding us towards something bigger, something more integrated, more alive. From a spiritual perspective, this is deeply encouraging. It means that life isn't only about struggle, about reacting to events that overwhelm us. There is a trajectory, an invisible current, that is moving consciousness forward. And if we tune into it, we can sense its rhythm, its pull, and align ourselves with it. Allowing this transformation to happen is key, as it helps us reunite with our soul and weave together all of our past experiences and stories. But here is the crucial part for our times. As we become more connected, digitally, socially, and energetically, every thought, every reaction, every choice we make contributes to this system. This means it is more important than ever to think deeply for ourselves, not to be swept along by the masses, by breaking news, by fleeting emotions. The change McKenna speaks of doesn't happen in isolation. It depends on all of us and the inputs we contribute. When we lose ourselves in the pressure to conform to societal norms and expectations, we risk falling into a collective mindset. That's when things start to go wrong, as we have seen in the past with mass movements in history. This isn't the path we want to take. Our freedom and independence propel us forward, not conformity. McKenna calls it perfect novelty. It's not just innovation or newness. It's a kind of cosmic creativity, a culmination of complexity, where every point connects to every other point, where life itself becomes more aware of itself. And here is where it gets personal. This pull is happening through us. We are not just observers. Our choices, the energy we radiate, our actions, they participate in this movement toward the new. Every connection we make, Every insight we follow, every moment of attention we offer to clarity instead of distraction, it matters. We are both caught in this current and co-creating it. The forces McKenna describes are vast, yet they act through the simplest things: our attention, our awareness, our willingness to engage with life consciously. And that, more than ever, is the spiritual challenge of our age. What we are witnessing now is the breakdown of old systems, old ways of thinking and living. It's disorienting, even painful. But within this storm, growing chances take root. New systems rising, innovations colliding, and humanity adapting, as it always has. This is a pattern we have seen throughout history, when dominant structures or ideologies reach their inevitable end. It's simply the beginning of something bigger. We are moving toward a new phase, one that will allow us to rise above the confusion in the world around us and connect to something far greater. Change is happening on an unimaginable scale, and as humans, we are incredibly adaptable. No matter the challenge, we find a way to survive. We have undergone transformations before, and now we are being tested again. The universe itself is never out of balance. It is one, whole, and inseparable. So even now, as technology accelerates and more aspects of life are outsourced, something else is rising in equal measure. The more we move away from our humanity, the stronger the pull back toward self-awareness, toward remembering who we really are. This is why so many are experiencing wake-up calls, questioning how to reclaim their own lives instead of surrendering them to modern trends. As one side advances outward, the other deepens inward. The turbulence is undeniable, yet this upheaval isn't the end. It's a catalyst. What then is guiding us through? Back in 1998, Terence McKenna saw this very turbulence as a spiritual crucible for consciousness to evolve. He believed these contradictions compel humanity to awaken, to question the deeper purpose behind the strangeness of our times.
So the whole entire Milky Way galaxy is a being?
It's an organism, yes, with which we are in partnership, not set against. And so really what I'm saying is that the universe is getting its act together. It's connecting the dots. It's bringing everything into co-relationship with everything else. And somehow it does this through the production of consciousness. And as it does this, it becomes somehow more aware, more self-conscious, more being-like and less thing-like. The goal of the archaic mind is to connect with, communicate with, and align itself to this greater Gaian holism, which is sometimes called nature, the great spirit, the realm of the ancestors. And in fact, it is true. Our own decision to view the universe as dead, as inanimate, as unintelligent, allowed us, permitted us to dissect it, use it, and deny its validity outside of human purpose. We must give reverence and credence to nature and nature's methods, because no other methods will allow us to work our way out of the present mess we're in.
This is where McKenna takes us from the human scale to the cosmic scale, and it's both humbling and inspiring. What if the galaxy isn't just a backdrop, a static collection of stars, but a living partner in our existence? Every star, every planet, every swirl of gas, even the vast emptiness between galaxies, is part of a fractal system, a system alive with purpose, with motion, with the drive toward complexity and novelty. From a spiritual perspective, this is extraordinary. It suggests that the universe itself is not indifferent. There is a rhythm, a pattern, a pulse that connects the smallest micro-event to the unfolding of the universe itself. Every interaction we have, every act of awareness or creation, participates in this larger living system. Look closer at what McKenna is really saying. Novelty, complexity, consciousness. These aren't just human phenomena. They are the organizing principles of the universe itself. The galaxy, with its spiral arms and dense core, stays coherent not because of some missing mass or invisible force alone. It stays coherent because novelty and complexity are driving it toward an integrated dynamic balance. It is as if the universe has a will to express itself, to weave all points together, to make everything matter in relation to everything else. And we are not separate observers of this process. We are microcosms of the same principle. Terence McKenna saw the galaxy itself as a living being, organizing like a cell, with humanity as its active imagination, shaping its purpose through our choices. This kind of awakening changes how we live. The question is, what part will we play, and what will we choose to create? Our consciousness, our choices, the vibrations we emit, they ripple outward. In the same way the galaxy organizes itself around complexity and novelty, we can align our lives with the flow of creation. Yes, life feels fast, chaotic, unpredictable. Yes, we live amid storms of extreme events and rapid change. But the chaos is not aimless. It's the universe tightening its grip, guiding a movement toward connection, toward awareness, toward something larger than ourselves. This is the ultimate spiritual message in McKenna's vision. Everything is connected. Everything is alive. And the universe is pulling us toward a higher state of consciousness, if we have the awareness to follow, rather than get lost in distraction. Something beyond us seems to guide humanity, like a force pulling all things toward connection. Terence McKenna called this the transcendental object, a point where every mind and idea merges into something entirely new. It is the universe becoming aware through us, a process rooted in consciousness itself. Quantum computing labs explore systems that mirror this interconnectedness, while eco-villages nurture human bonds grounded in purpose and shared connection. This force asks us to rethink what it means to be human, to see ourselves as part of a larger mind, while honoring the unique contribution each of us brings. The ancient cultures understood that nature is conscious, alive, an organism full of intent. The goal was to connect with, communicate with, and align itself with this greater holistic force they called the Great Spirit. The answers lie in the ancient ways, but only if we are willing to see the universe as a living, intelligent entity, not a collection of inanimate objects separate from us, but a partner with whom we co-create. We must reconnect with nature, honor it, and live in harmony with it. This is our way forward. It's time to elevate our consciousness, to focus on love, abundance, and harmony. The energy we put out into the world is the energy that returns to us.
And our circumstance is awe-inspiring. I mean, we are about to take the step out of matter. The planet is on a collision course with the most profound event it's possible to imagine, the freeing of organic life from the chrysalis of matter. For 1 billion years there's been life on this planet, but never life that could step outside of matter. But this is obviously what's in the cards, and we are privileged to be central to that. You don't depart for the stars under calm and orderly conditions. It's a fire in a madhouse. And that's what we have, the fire in the madhouse at the end of time. This is what it's like when a species prepares to move on to the next dimension. The entire destiny of all life on the planet is tied up in this. So I see the cosmos, if you will, as a kind of novelty-producing engine, a kind of machine which produces complexity in all realms, physical, chemical, social, whatever, and then uses that achieved level of complexity as the platform for further complexity.
In 1998, Terence McKenna spoke of a future where humanity would begin to break free from matter, not only by reshaping the world around us, but by expanding consciousness into new dimensions. stretching the very limits of what it means to be human. And from this shift, new possibilities emerge. Fresh ways to sense, to endure, and to exist as conscious beings, no longer bound by physical constraints. This expansion of consciousness is about uncovering deeper layers within ourselves. We are not fixed beings. We are evolving. And this evolution calls us to explore the vast territories of mind and spirit. The systems that once kept the world steady are no longer enough to handle the immense changes unfolding. Right now, it seems that those at the top of society have lost direction. There is no longer a clear plan, just the goal to keep things running as they are for as long as possible. The focus is on maintaining the status quo, even if it means pushing products, distractions, and empty entertainment, all while ignoring the long-term consequences. We see this in the endless stream of sensational news stories, flashy advertising, and the constant buzz of social media. These things are designed to keep our attention diverted, to distract us from the deeper issues at play. The system around us wants us to react, to stay small, to be lost in the noise. Those in power know that sooner or later, the system will have to change, but their priority is simply to hold it together for a bit longer. We live in times that feel chaotic beyond comprehension. Every day, we are confronted with extremes, acts of cruelty, environmental crises, political upheavals, and the rapid collapse of systems we once considered stable. It can feel like the world itself is unraveling. And yet, as McKenna points out, chaos is not random. It is part of a much larger process. Our age is a double-edged sword. On one side, we face enormous challenges: cruelty, injustice, violence, natural disasters. On the other side, there is unprecedented opportunity, breakthroughs in science and technology, global communication, the rapid spread of ideas, and an awakening awareness of our interconnectedness. Chaos and opportunity are two sides of the same coin. From a spiritual perspective, this is critical. The external mess is a mirror of our internal state. If we allow ourselves to be consumed by the noise, if we scatter our attention on fear and negativity, we become part of the turbulence rather than conscious participants. But if we can cultivate awareness, presence, and discernment, chaos becomes a teacher, not a prison. It's a tool for transformation. McKenna's insight here is profound. Novelty, complexity, and acceleration push us to a tipping point, a moment where we are forced to evolve. It's uncomfortable, it's intense, and yes, it can feel overwhelming. But it also creates the conditions for growth that were impossible in slower, more predictable times. Chaos is not the enemy, distraction is. The universe, through acceleration and complexity, is inviting us to step into higher awareness, to act consciously, to participate in the unfolding of novelty, rather than being swept away by it. These times demand a new kind of spiritual discipline, to remain aware, to choose what we feed our minds with, and to focus on what cultivates growth, connection, and understanding.
I would argue that the presence of human civilization on this planet is the strongest evidence we have that matter and organizational processes are about to make some kind of a leap to a new order of being.